You have always been the strong one, the one who holds it together, the one people call when everything falls apart, the one who never really asks for help, the one who carries things quietly. And somehow, despite all of that strength, you end up feeling more alone than anyone around you, and you have wondered if something is wrong with you. If your standards are too high, if you are too much, if you are simply built for solitude. Nothing is wrong with you, but something very specific is happening. And once you understand it, the loneliness starts to make sense. Not as a punishment, as a sign. If you are the strong one in every room you enter, hit that like button right now and stay until the end, because this one was made for you. Strength is misunderstood. Most people think it means never struggling, never breaking, never needing. But real strength is something else entirely. It is the ability to keep going when everything is hard, to feel the weight of things and carry it anyway, to hold space for others when you are barely holding yourself together. And people who have developed this kind of strength usually developed it for a reason, because at some point they had to. Here are the 6 real reasons why the strongest people always end up alone. The first reason is the hardest to admit. You have grown significantly. The things that used to matter to you no longer do. The conversations that used to satisfy you now feel shallow. The version of life that most people around you seem content with does not feel like enough for you anymore. And this creates distance, not because you think you are better than anyone, but because you are no longer the same person who fits so comfortably in spaces that now feel too small. Growth is isolating, not because growing is wrong, but because not everyone grows at the same pace. And when you move forward, you sometimes have to leave behind spaces and people who are not moving with you. That is not abandonment, that is evolution. The second reason is the one that creates the most distance. You do not perform, you do not pretend to be okay when you are not. You do not laugh at things that are not funny. You do not stay in rooms that drain you out of politeness. You do not maintain relationships that exist only on the surface, and in a world where most social interaction is performance. This makes you hard to be around for certain people, not because you are difficult, because you are real. And real is uncomfortable for people who are not ready to be honest. Most people prefer comfortable illusions over uncomfortable truths, and your refusal to participate in those illusions means certain people will always keep their distance. That is not rejection. That is a filter working exactly as it should. The third reason is the one people use against you the most. You have been told your standards are too high, that you expect too much, that you need to lower the bar. But here is what they are really saying. Stop expecting people to show up the way you show up. Stop expecting the effort you give to be returned. Stop expecting honesty from people who prefer convenience. Your standards are not too high. They are a reflection of what you know is possible, because you do it yourself, every day, and you refuse to accept less than what you are willing to give. That is not demanding, that is self-respect. And self-respect always narrows the field, because most people are comfortable giving the minimum, and you have never been able to live there. We are halfway through, and the next reasons are the ones that are going to change the way you see your solitude completely. Subscribe right now if you haven't yet. The fourth reason comes from further back than you think. At some point in your life, you learned that needing people was dangerous. Maybe the people you needed were not there. Maybe asking for help was met with dismissal or disappointment. Maybe being vulnerable cost you something important. And your strength was born from that lesson. I will not need people in a way that leaves me exposed. I will handle things myself. I will be the one who gives and never the one who asks. And this strategy kept you safe for a while, but it also built walls that kept out the people who might have actually shown up for you. Your strength is real, but some of it is armor. And armor is heavy, and it keeps out the cold, but it also keeps out the warmth. The fifth reason is simply about numbers. The kind of person you are looking for is rare. Someone who can hold space for your depth, who is not threatened by your strength, who shows up without needing to be chased, who is doing their own work, who does not need you to be smaller to feel bigger. That person exists, but they are not everywhere. And because you refuse to settle for less, the pool becomes small, and the waiting becomes long, and the solitude in between is the price of refusing to compromise on something that actually matters. That is not failure, that is integrity. And here is the sixth and most important reason. The solitude you feel is not a void. It is space. Space you created by outgrowing things that no longer fit, by refusing to perform, by holding standards that most people abandoned years ago, by protecting your energy for something real. The loneliness of the strong is not the same as the loneliness of the lost. It is the loneliness of someone who has not yet found their people, but who knows exactly who they are without them. And that kind of solitude is not weakness. It is the foundation of everything, Because you cannot build something real from a place of desperation. You can only build it from a place of wholeness. And you are already whole. Here are the 6 real reasons why the strongest people always end up alone. You have outgrown most of the people around you. You do not perform for people. Your standards are not too high. Most people are just too comfortable. You carry things alone because you learned that asking was not safe. The people who can match your energy are rare, and your solitude is not emptiness. It is power. The right people are not going to fix your loneliness. They are going to meet you in your wholeness and recognize something in you that they have been looking for themselves. Until then, stop apologizing for being built differently. Stop making yourself smaller to fit into spaces that were never designed for you. Stop waiting for permission to take up the space you have already earned. The right ones are coming, and they will not ask you to be less. They will finally understand what it means to be around someone who has never stopped becoming. If this video hit home, leave a like. Tell me in the comments, do you feel this? Subscribe for more. See you in the next one.